Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
So as you heard, my name is Zayne Fervier. My business is Birth.ED SLU. So the ED stands for education. I am a childbirth education teacher, a childbirth educator. And as you heard, I'm very passionate about reaching out to mothers, first-time mothers, second time, third time, whatever it is, and giving them the power that they need to embrace childhood. Because I'm sure those of you who do not have children, and even those of you who do have children, childbirth often gets a negative rap. Like, nobody looks forward to childbirth. But I do try to, in my classes, help the mothers to look forward to childbirth. It may be the only time you experience it, so it should be something that you remember, and it should be something that you remember positively. So, as I said, a lot of the time my business is done, or first-time mothers come to me because obviously it's their first time giving birth, so they want to know what to expect, they want to know what they should do. But I have also had experience with second-time mothers, third-time mothers, and a lot of the time is because their experience was a traumatic one, a traumatizing one, which is really sad. Again, I don't think that childbirth should ever be something that you look back on and you think, oh, this was a terrible experience, I never want to do it again. If you say you have 2 children and you're like, okay, I'm done, I never want to do it again, that's a little bit different. But I really think that childbirth should be something that you look back on fondly, you enjoy telling the story. If you see somebody is pregnant, you don't have PTSD and then you want to tell them about how bad your experience was. I really don't think it should be that way.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Hi.
And yes, I want it to be as interactive as possible.
You spoke about remembering your childhood.
Mhm.
I don't, because I have 2 C-section.
Wow, so that means the drugs that were in the system, yeah. And how do you feel about that, not remembering?
I didn't really, but I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
And the first one I went natural, and the second one I had to. So I had 2 cesarean.
Okay. And that's the thing, everybody has different experiences, but as much as possible, I do think it is something you should remember. Because again, it's not like it's something that you can repeat, really. Once you've done your 1, your 2, your 3, whatever it is, you can't
The
say...
only thing I can remember is the pain I was having.
In the beginning.
Yeah, when they have you to get up right away and start walking.
Yes, yeah,
That was
they do that.
all.
So that was
I don't think I
after.
want to remember.
Okay, fine, I understand. Okay, we will get to the pain aspect as well. So I do believe the way a woman gives birth matters, the way she's treated matters even more. So again, it's not just a case of, okay, you have a baby, you're pregnant, you give birth, and that's it, we move on. It should be an experience and a positive experience for you. Okay, so we're looking at one word birth story. What is one word, those of you who have given birth, what is one word that you would use to describe your birthing experience? You can think for 5 seconds.
Exhausting.
Exhausting, okay. Wonderful, I love that. The first one, a miracle. Okay, I'm hearing positive and not so positive, but exhausting is understandable. Magical, stressful, what else?
Difficult for me, very difficult.
Difficult, okay.
I have 6, I have 3 cesarean sections.
Oh, wow.
And 3 normals.
So you have some stories to tell us, definitely.
Let's say magic.
Okay. I would say I have 2 children, so I would say the first one for me was very invasive, and I will share why in a bit. And the second one, yeah, I would say it was a magical experience.
What?
I would.
The magical.
The second one for you, no? Yeah, the first one for me was not that great. Second one was definitely more of a magical experience. And I think that's why with my first pregnancy, first childbirth experience, that is why I then sought knowledge. Because I was like, I do not want to have to experience that again. Because I say invasive because one, there were people around me that I did not want to be around me. So it wasn't a private experience as I would have preferred. I didn't give birth in Saint Lucia, I gave birth in St. Martin. So people were allowed to be present. And of course, I'm in pain, I'm in the throes of labor. I don't really have in my mind to be like, I don't want you to be here, could you please leave? So that was a bit of an uncomfortable experience for me, and also the doctor who delivered me wasn't very nice or pleasant. Go ahead.
I just want to ask a question because anybody can answer. Do they now allow a family member to be there with you?
Yes.
Because when I gave birth to my first daughter, that was my first experience. I didn't know anything, and I wasn't allowed any family, so I held on to an orderly. And I said to her, "You're not leaving my bedside until it's done," and she had to ask the doctor. And then the doctor said, "That's okay," because I was terrified.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There was no faces that I recognized. I'm going through this first time experience, and I felt like it was a little cold, not just the temperature, but cold in the room. And I think it's so important to have somebody that's supportive there with you. Yeah, and I was just wondering if that changed in Saint Lucia, because it's been a while.
Yeah, as far as I know, one person gets one.
At least.
One person. And that's all you need. Like she said.
Yeah, Victoria time.
Thankfully, that's changed. That's all you need. You just need that one person who knows you. They can say what you need them to say, hold your hand, tell you breathe, whatever it is. And that support is very necessary, which I will touch on in a bit. So as I was saying, we all have different words to describe our birthing experiences, and I would like as much as possible for it to be positive. It isn't always, unfortunately, you may not always remember it, but it can be something you try for when you are having children. If you plan on having more children, those of you who have already. So there are top 5 things, top 5 things every mother deserves to know. And one, your body is designed to give birth. This is not an unnatural experience for your body. Your body is designed to give birth. When you're going through labor, you will realize that. 2, pain and fear are connected. 3, you have the right to make decisions. And I'll go back to pain and fear because pain is not a bad thing. It really is not a bad thing. I'll come back to that. 3, you have the right to make decisions and ask questions. 4, support changes everything, like you said. Just having that one person in there with you will change so much for you, change your mindset. And 5, healing is a journey. So let's jump to your body is designed to give birth. Okay, so presenter before me, she did touch on hormones, and that's very important. With giving birth and even with our bodies after we give birth, the healing process, when we go through puberty, when we go through perimenopause, menopause, etc., those hormones are very important. Don't be afraid of them, learn about your bodies. Even every month when we go through menstruation, hormones change for us. Every week is a different hormone that is peaking, etc. So it's important to learn about how our bodies work. Hormones like oxytocin and endorphins support natural birth. And our MC was saying we're afraid to talk about sex sometimes. I'm not afraid to talk about sex. It's very important. So oxytocin is often released during sex. Oxytocin is released during holding your baby. That's considered to be the love hormone. When you're giving birth, for example, one of the things they tell you to do is have either your husband, your partner, or yourself play with your nipples. Because it releases oxytocin, and that actually helps labor to go a lot better and a lot faster. So all of these things are connected. It's quite interesting. And I'm sure, at least I was told this, but I'm sure when you were pregnant, your mother, your grandmother may tell you, if you have sex towards the end, the 9-month period, you're most likely going to go into labor. That's also because of oxytocin, and it's also because of the sperm helping to ripen the cervix. So if you have a partner, a loving partner, a supportive partner who's there with you during the pregnancy, use them to help you push things along. And of course, movement, position, and breath matter. I was about to say I don't have anybody to really try it on, but is there anybody here who's pregnant? No? Okay, but if you do get pregnant again, movement is very important during labor instead of sitting still and going through the pain. And I'm sure you've experienced that with pain. Like if you stub your toe, you might want to move around, jump around, you hit something, you want to walk, you start to breathe a little heavier. That helps, right? So that's where movement, your position, and your breathing matters. And trusting your instincts. If you feel, same thing with movement, as you're giving birth, you want to get up, you want to move around, trust that. That's very important. Pain and fear are connected. Now, I said I was excited to talk about the pain because I don't think we should be afraid of pain. When giving birth, I don't think we should be afraid of pain because that pain tells us what needs to happen. The contractions tell us, okay, baby is coming. Then you have that pressure, that feeling to push. You all remember that? Some of you? I know. But if you ever have, do you have any daughters by any chance?
Yeah.
Do they have any children? Not yet?
No.
Okay, so when they get to that point, they're just teenagers, so they have some time to go. But when they get to that point, that knowledge is important to share with them, that they shouldn't go into it feeling afraid. They shouldn't be afraid of the pain that is to come, because once you start feeling afraid of pain, your body starts to tense up. I always like viewing labor as a marathon. You know your feet are going to hurt, you know your muscles are going to hurt, but you know it's going to end. So just view it that way. Push through the pain to get to that finish point, to get your baby, to get the prize that you're looking for. So fear increases tension, which increases pain. Breathing, movement, and support help to reduce fear, which is what you want to do. And then you also have affirmations. I noticed Shireen has that in the journal excerpt that she gave us. Create an affirmation. And I know I'm talking about giving birth, but this applies to life. With anything. Maybe you hate going to work on a Monday. Create an affirmation to help you view it positively. Maybe your children are frustrating you. You have lacking the patience. I've been feeling that lately a lot. Say a little affirmation to help you push through so that you're not snapping at them and shouting at them. Massage, visualization, those are fairly straightforward. And with visualization, that can connect to prayer, depending on what your spirituality is, your religion is. Saying a prayer, asking God to tell you, asking God to help you push through the day, asking God to provide certain things. Immediately you visualizing what that thing is that you need, and you putting it in your head, and you putting positive thoughts in your head. Because a lot of the time we can be negative. We can go into things thinking, this is going to be terrible, this is going to be bad, I'm going to be in so much pain. Don't do that. Start off positively and it will change quite a bit for you.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
I have 5 kids.
You have?
5 kids. 5 children, sorry. They're grown. This one. And I realized with pain, my 2 sons, in giving birth, I had no pain. But with the girls, the pain was different. So I don't know if it has to do with the sex of the child or if it has to do. Honestly, when I had my sons, I cannot recall having any pain. All I know, I went to the hospital and then bam bam, I did. But with the girls, the pain was different. And with all 3 of them, in all 3 circumstances, the pain was different with each of them. My last daughter, they had to induce labor for me. And with the 2 others, the 2 middle one, this one, and the one before, it was severe, but still tolerable, I should say.
Okay.
So, but with the boys, it's as if okay. Honestly,
Maybe a study needs to be done on that. That's quite interesting.
I don't know what maybe, but that's like different people maybe different.
That's true. I guess anybody can chime in if you have boys and girls.
With my first daughter,
Mm-hmm.
I had pain, but I could have begged. That's why I said it was wonderful. Because when she came out, I said, oh my God, I could have another one. Yes, but the second one, oh, Jesus Christ, I said, no more.
The second is a boy or a girl?
What? The second one was, oh my God, please take it out, take it out.
Okay.
I just couldn't bear that pain. Yes, the second one was a girl.
See, I have 2 girls. For me, it was the opposite. The first one, I was in a lot more pain. I think, again, because I was scared, I was nervous, so I was kind of tensing up. Second one was a breeze. Like you said, I felt like I could have more. If my finances would allow, I would definitely have more children just because of how good that second one was.
Right. So
Okay.
could it be not just the sex, but your preparation before?
Definitely.
Because it's the Miss was saying before, she said about mental preparation, and we were talking about it. And I think it happens because when I had my first daughter, I was afraid the same way. I tensed up, and I was just pushing like a crazy person because I just
Exactly.
wanted it done and over with. And I was scared. I was feeling a lot of emotions. I heard so many horror stories of, at the time it was VH, and then not only about VH, but on so many horror stories about pregnancy and the pain, like you were saying. So many people before us, they just set us up mentally to just
Yes.
be in a lot of pain, and I didn't enjoy the experience at all. And the second one was even worse because now I didn't enjoy that experience. I didn't even want to go through that again, and it happened. And I was in labor for, I think I went in the Wednesday, I gave birth Friday, and I was in labor the entire time. It was just a miserable experience for me. So it just, I think mentally, it's your mental state
Yeah.
and how prepared you are would definitely make the labor. Like you said, the pain is going to be there.
It's going to be there.
But then if you're not mentally ready and embrace it,
Yeah.
it's going to be a miserable experience.
So that prep is a huge part of it. That's why, again, educate yourself as much as you can before you have. You'll never tell somebody just go and run a marathon. You'll tell them prepare. You have 9 months to prepare. Start running slowly. Start doing whatever. Buy the right shoes. Prep is so
Right.
important mentally and physically. Yes, I saw.
Yes, I have 4. Well, one is that I have one past. But I had 2 experiences, 2 severe, with both severe pain. I must tell you that, severe pain. 2 days suffering, yes. But the middle one, I spoke to God and I said to him, because I've heard people say they went, just like my sister said, she went and it was like easy. I told him I want to experience it. And to my knowledge, my dear, I did experience, I only felt this contraction because you know it have to come. That's all I felt. When I went to the hospital, then I reached there, the nurse asked me to, I see they taking things, you know, the thing they taking to do whatever they are doing. So I'm asking question, what are you doing if that she examined? She said me that the child is ready to give birth. So I give God thanks and I give God praise. I experienced that one for myself.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm glad. And
Oh, sorry.
I'll come to you. I also don't want to minimize anybody's experience. If it was a painful experience, a C-section that you don't remember, that doesn't lessen anything at all. It could be like you could prepare as much as possible, do all the walking, do all the mental prep, and for some reason it does not go as positively as you'd like to. It does not change anything. You have your happy, healthy baby, and that's all that matters. Yes.
I think we should prepare, although, well, those who are not mothers yet, for the possibilities.
Agreed.
Because for me, I choose natural birth any day over C-section. I've had both. My daughter first was natural, but the thing is, my last prenatal visit with my doctor, he had to send me up because he's like, this child is too big. We need to get this child out of you now. So he did a procedure, and I was not dilated. So I spent the whole day in labor. When I thought the pain was bad, it was getting worse and worse. And plus, I had all these, like they said, the stories and everything. It wasn't the most pleasant because the nurses were like, one even said to me, well, if your child died, that's not your business. Yes, because I wasn't pushing properly. You're nervous, you hear all the things of what you're supposed to do, but when you're actually in it now, yeah, they tell me you're not pushing properly. After I spend the whole day trying to dilate, walking like it, and on top of it, I'm slim, but then when I get pregnant, I put on a significant amount of weight. So all of that was, so by my time I was pregnant with my second son, I'm prepping myself, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Boom, I end up in, on bed rest for a bit. And guess what my son did? He turned back up. And he's born the same way. He's 8 years now, and he's just the same way, just unpredictable. This child is unpredictable. He was already turned down, and then all of a sudden he turned back up. And when they really checked, what was going on. It was impossible to do all these things where you can help turn the child back down. And now I had to face a different set of things where my mother and my grandmother, everybody panicking, oh my gosh, a C-section. I was like, oh God, I really thought I was ready for natural birth, and then now I have to reorganize my whole brain for this. So I say, prepare yourself for you just never know.
And that's again where positive thinking comes in, because if the unexpected comes at you and you start to panic, then yeah, you're going to again tighten up the fear, all of that. So expect the unexpected. Yes, this is what you would like to happen. If it doesn't happen, it's okay. Just let it be. Yes.
Yeah, for me, I had pre-pregnancy and I wouldn't say easy delivery, but I did not have all the labor pain. Like the contraction period was very short, like in less than an hour, I would have my babies. And the doctors, sometimes, like when I had 2 was born in the US. The one I had here, when I reached here, they tell me, you're not ready yet, you're not ready yet. And then in less than half an hour, the baby was there.
See, you knew your body.
In my mind, I said, many people went through it before, so I can go through it as well.
Yes.
And that was the mindset that I had. It could have changed stuff, my mindset, but then that's how it happened.
Yeah.
All 3 of them.
That's an affirmation in itself. Other people did it, so I can do it too. It's not the first time it's happening. Yes.
And sometimes preparing for the unexpected, even if you don't prepare for it, the unexpected is actually a blessing. Because I had a difficult pregnancy, probably 70% of the time on bed rest, but it wasn't the baby giving trouble. I don't know what it is to talk about morning sickness. I never had that. Just a few food aversions, but it was my body failing me because I was in my 30s, late 30s. But then when I went in at 40 weeks, I don't know what it is to have a contraction. My water never broke. I reported the day I was supposed to give birth. They induced my labor that same afternoon, nothing. I felt no pain. I never felt anything. They induced it twice again the next day, absolutely nothing. I never felt absolutely no pain. Long story short, epidural, my pressure was all over the place, 10 o'clock in the night. The cord was all around the child's neck. So God knew why I wasn't going into labor. So sometimes the unexpected, the doctors didn't want, they said, you're still young, we don't want to give you a C-section. But God said, if you try and get this girl to push this child out, you're going to have a fetus on your account. And I never went into labor. They induced me 3 times and nothing happened. So in a way I can say my experience, although it was probably not on the positive side, I'm happy for how it happened. God intervened in that situation.
Yeah, I love that.
Question. Because when I went into bed rest, I wasn't too surprised. You said earlier about trusting your instinct. And I sometimes think if I had probed a little more and be a little more aggressive about it, it may not have happened. But like she said, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. I think I needed to slow down myself. But as opposed to my first prayer, I felt as if I was carrying the child low. I could feel as if like right there, and I kept on, every time I went to the doctor, I said something, it just feels as if we did whatever, oh, it's okay. And then before I knew it, by 7 months, I was on bed rest, and I was like, so what do you do in that instance? Because that's not my expertise, but I can feel, that I could have felt that the child, as if I'm carrying the child more until the doctor, more, it's like, each pregnancy is different, because I'm like, it was years ago, but something just doesn't feel right. Before I know it, 7 months, I'm in there because I was doing a lot of up and down.
Yeah, and that actually takes me to my next point. So, ask questions. Again, you may not be, I am not a medical professional, but I believe in asking questions. I'm a teacher, I believe in knowledge. So ask your doctor questions. It shouldn't just be a case of, this is what you should do. Okay, why? Is there an alternative? Is there something else I can do? Are you sure there's nothing else that's better? And if again you feel uncomfortable, you feel like something is up with your body, you can always get a second opinion as well. So yes, you may have this doctor that you trust, this midwife that you trust, but get a second opinion. It's your body at the end of the day. And that applies to anything with our bodies, not just pregnancy and giving birth. So in no way am I doubting or saying that medical professionals don't know what they're doing. Of course they do, but you are feeling what you are feeling. So ask all your questions, and like I said, get a second opinion if it's possible. And that's right there. So ask what are the benefits, what are the risks of this alternative, and your voice matters. I feel like in Saint Lucia in the Caribbean, we have this culture of whatever this person says goes. You don't have a right to ask any questions. But no, we are going to these people, we are paying our money to get advice, to get attention from them. So we should be getting all the attention from them. And I think that's my final point, and that goes again to what we were talking about at the beginning. Support. Support is everything. Whether it is your husband, your partner, your boyfriend, your best friend, your mother, whatever it is, that support is very necessary. It should be a person who does not panic easily. It should be a person who is positive. That person shouldn't be whispering little things in your ear that makes you feel uncomfortable or panicking about what is to come. Continuous support reduces C-sections, interventions, and trauma. And like I said, support can be your partner, your doula. We have doulas now, your midwife, your friend, because during pregnancy, during labor, and afterwards, and we spoke about that, even as mothers, we need the support. We cannot do this by ourselves. The only reason I'm able to be here today without my younger daughter with me is because of the support that I have. So I have the grandparents, I have the friends, I have the sister that I can rely on when I need it. So that's very important. Don't feel guilty about asking for help, because then you'll be home, you're snapping at the children because you're irritated, you're tired, and you did not take advantage of the support that you have. Any questions on support? I believe, go ahead.
So, I met Zayne when I was having, I think that was pregnancy before. So, last pregnancy. I know Zayne before, but I mean, I met her in her professional aspect here. When I had my girl before, I had a traumatic experience because I was apparently allergic to Birth.ED, right? So I got Birth.ED injection, and that was it. I didn't know what was going on in that, and I had naturally lived. So I didn't know when I pushed the child out. I didn't know anything. They actually told me I gave the baby to a nurse because I told the nurse that's not my child. And these things I only know after the fact because I had a doula. So doulas are available in Saint Lucia. Yeah? So persons who going to give birth, they didn't give birth yet, doulas are available. We have nurses who are doulas. So the doula told me she's the one that take care of the baby all. I think I didn't know myself until I gave birth. So let's say I gave birth today. I didn't know myself until like tomorrow afternoon. I saw the baby in the crib next to me in the cot, but I just turned around and kept sleeping. Like I still see that I saw the baby, but I don't remember the process of going through. I know I had pain, lots of pain. They told me they was going to give me the injection. They gave it right on my thigh. I don't know anything that happened after that. I wasn't functioning properly. So so that experience, it really sent me off because I realized, what she really means that you cannot get any form of pain medication whether or not they want to give it to you. And which means I cannot even go into C-section because when they're going to give me Birth.ED to come back out of C-section because I will be in pain. So I cannot take it. So I said, Lord Jesus, this child here, give me less pain as possible. So I started to prepare my brain, and that's when I got introduced to Zayne services. So Zayne walked me from that process. I think Zayne, you remember how much money when I started?
I feel like it was maybe the 7th or 8th.
Okay, so almost to give birth, right? So, and I met